So we're going to talk about your husband and how his conversations and behaviors push your button on being a perfectionist. Excuse me. Does that feel like a good place to start?
I think so. It has to do, just so you understand, it has to do with the way I react to things he says or does. You know, not perfectionist in the sense of keeping the house perfect or those kind of things, if that helps you.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's relationship stuff. It's, you know, getting my feelings hurt because when he points out something that I might need to take responsibility for, and I feel it's accusing, and he thinks he just asked a simple question. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. We can take this wherever you want, but it's funny. I had a spirit did talk to me in my dreams last night, and I felt really good when I got up. But it's the anxiety just kind of popped up again when I started trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. I think.
Beautiful. So, is it comfortable for you to share maybe a couple phrases of what he says that? Because I can almost feel like, you know, I talk about, especially in relationships, how when our spirit is open and we're feeling safe and loved and whatever, our spirit is open and we're having these open conversations, and then the other person says or does something and it makes our spirit contract, and it becomes like a brick in our wall, and that emotional wall literally is built from each one of those experiences that didn't get healed.
Sure.
Right. So there's a theme on every wall. So the button that it's pushing is you got to be better, more perfect. You're not allowed to not. You're actually what spirit
right, and he doesn't know he's pushing that button. I mean, that's not the phrase he thinks he's using.
Exactly.
But you're right. That's exactly what it is. He's pushing the button that says, "I cause my own problems."
There we go. So that's the word that Spirit's kind of giving me, is we want to focus on their opinion is more important than mine. Right? If he says I should, then blast it, I should.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Are you comfortable sharing a couple of the phrases of what he might actually say? Because I think that people will really relate to that.
I'm certainly comfortable. I'm confused on what they are, but I don't have any discomfort level around this being personal.
Okay. So think back to the experience last night. Okay, actually Spirit's inviting us to actually go right through the script. We're going to do, you know how I have my little cheat template that I use for my clients. What time of day was it?
Evening.
Okay. Where were you standing or sitting?
Living room.
And it was just the two of you?
Yes.
So we're going to say me and husband, and we're just going to call him husband.
Okay.
And we all have, if it's not a husband or a spouse, or a life partner, it can absolutely be a parent. Sometimes it's a child, a boss, right? It doesn't matter who the who is. If we can narrow in on a specific thing that's pushing a button and making us anxious, or you've done the extra step of realizing that it makes you feel like you have to be perfect, you're not allowed. But if we can hone into the experiences, maybe we can find an unplug. Actually, we'll pull out. It's pulling a weed that we're doing, right? As we've created a little plant around this. So me and my husband, what was happening just before the altercation? Things were going like what, and it was okay, and then something started happening. What was happening just before?
I don't know. I knew he was, I knew he'd had a bad day.
Okay.
But we were just talking. I can't tell you what I was saying anymore because it threw it right out of my head when it went out. And to be honest with you, I stepped in a wet spot on the carpet. And it startled me and interrupted my conversation, and I was just kind of like shocked. Oh no, dog peed on the carpet.
Yeah.
And Mark said, well, who didn't put him out? Who didn't put her up? Because this particular dog is not 100% reliable and should not have been out during the day. But I wasn't the last one to leave the house because our son had been there.
Okay.
So, and I don't know how we want to use this in the script, but I thought maybe I'd go into too much detail. I need to set it up a little bit.
No, that's perfect, because here are the three pieces that I'm seeing as your coach. Is the first is we're just having a conversation. My spirit's kind of open, right? Spirit's open.
Right.
The first shock was I stepped in the dog pee, and went, oh, right. So the first contraction.
Right.
Second contraction is the way he commented on who didn't put her out. Who didn't put her up? I think that's the word you said, yes?
It's up, yeah, but she stays up when we're not home.
Okay. Okay, and I can feel your anxiety rising. So right now on a scale of 0 to 10, how high is this anxiety?
Sounds insane for something like that, but 10.
But baby girl,
I mean, it really takes it up there.
Yeah.
For what and maybe because of the way it escalated from there, but it just, yeah.
And here's the thing: it isn't an overreaction because this is a pattern, right? It's like building up to dropping the bombs.
Right.
And it's shell shock, literally, is when you've had 1,000 of these experiences, we become hypervigilant and so hypersensitive to anything that feels like we're going there. The bombs are going to drop.
Right.
And so it doesn't care if it's stepping in the dog. It doesn't matter if it's the dog pee. It doesn't matter if it's you didn't shut the gate in the yard. It doesn't matter what the thing is. It's just a symptom of the thousands of times that I felt attacked, belittled, stupid, unloved, accused. Put whatever word we want on it, right?
Right.
So
and that's exactly it. You just nailed it. It's not. I didn't even think, even when I got upset, I didn't think I was that upset. You know what I mean? But it just seemed like from there it escalated to, and before that, he really hadn't been talking. I was excited. I had barely seen him in 5 days. And, he'd been home one night, and that was late, and I was tired, and then he was gone for another 2 days kind of thing. And I knew he'd had a bad day. I could tell. It was, even though he wasn't sharing it with me, he was obviously very upset about something and not feeling good. I wanted to be with my husband.
Right.
I wanted to talk and I wanted to catch up on things. It
and
seemed like I literally said, not right then when the pee happened, but in the course of things we kept talking, and I don't even remember what he said now, but he said something else, and I said, you just need to go back to not talking. I just wish you'd go back to not talking to me. It was better.
Oh, baby girl, I'm so sorry. Here's another thing that Spirit's showing me. He went from being the husband to being your father, right? It feels like he flips into that mode and pushes you are the child button.
Yeah, and my dad wasn't that role, that person in my life, so I don't know who he is, but you're right. It's what we think of as that, yeah.
Yeah. So
taking care of me or
totally.
Me.
Well, commanding you, right? Treating you.
My parents.
Yeah. Instead of being an equal, there's something that happens there, and he may not intend it as that, but the way the conversation is being received by you, what you're hearing is, you stupid kid.
Exactly. And I think when you say that, what it feels like to me is, it's not my dad. It's not the dad I grew, it's not the relationship I grew up, but I think it's the one he grew up with.
Yes. And so
I think I'm sucking in how I am with the empath thing. And I think that was part of the problem to begin with, was I knew there was something going on, but he wasn't sharing it with me. And I think I was already absorbing his bad mood energy. I was in a good mood when I came home, and I was looking forward to seeing him. Even when I realized he was not in a great mood, I was okay and just kind of leaving him alone and letting him kind of,
So here's the first thing.
Things.
Yeah. So here's the first thing I want you to be really observant of. I'm talking about being hypervigilant and how we've been trained because of the bombs. And I know that's such a big example. But if we can make it that big, our ego can't miss it.
Right.
Is your hypervigilance and your sensitivity? You knew he'd had a bad day before he even said anything.
Right.
That already started closing your spirit. Right? You already...
Yeah, probably.
Right?
I didn't feel like that. I
totally.
felt like I was understanding of it and not letting it.
Sure. And yet on some level, it's almost like the dog starts growling.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I was fine until there was one thing negative towards me.
Well, and baby girl, I don't think it was because it was one thing negative towards you. I think it was the series that was leading up to it. Is I'm home happy, my spirit's open. I'm home happy, I'm happy to see you. I'm not getting that reflected back to me.
Right.
So we've got that disappointment. Then we have this energy of, oh, he's in a bad mood. I'm not going to see all these fractures that our brain and our mind are doing.
Oh, yeah.
And as we did the thing about anxiousness, that's what we came across is when I'm fractured like that and my mind's thinking about, I'm feeling this way, but I'm observing him feeling that way. I'm missing him, but he's not seeming to miss me. Can you see all the little fractures? And so, and we've had this conversation before, I hope it's okay to share, is that anxiety becomes depression when we become exhausted from holding all these energies at one time over and over and over and almost on a day-to-day basis with every breath.
Right. And I don't know of anything that I'm not comfortable sharing.
Okay, thank you, dear.
I mean, I want this to be what you need it to, what it can be for others, not just for you, but also for you. But if it can help other people.
Oh, and it is. I'm already getting a little goosey bumpy, so it already is. So on a scale of 0 to 10, and you know how I do this is when I do the Ego Tamer is we take each little aspect, because each one to me is its own little story chapter. Right. I knew he'd had a bad day. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much does that bring up?
At the time, like a 7.
Sure. Right now?
A 10.
Yeah, because we're getting to the truth.
Yeah.
I stepped in the wet spot, the shock and that feeling right now when you remember that. On a scale.
9.
Okay. And here's, I call them the dreadful words, right? Who didn't put her up? On a scale of 0 to 10.
10. Yeah, I did 12. It just went through the roof.
See, there's that perfectionist again. You can't just stay with 10. All right, baby girl, come with me. Karate chop.
Hey, remember 50.
No, I know.
I kept it reasonable.
You did well. You kept it down below the Richter scale's lower. So.
Sure, I would have given you,
That's right.
I would have given you in the 3-digit zone too.
Yes. And you know what? I honor that because I've been there. I know that this feels, I've been there. You know that. So,
yeah,
all right. So karate chop with me. So even though it appears that I'm trying to just heal some anxiety.
So even though it appears that I'm just trying to heal some anxiety.
What I'm really asking Holy Spirit to do today.
What I'm really asking Holy Spirit to do today.
Is to pull out all of this energy.
Is to pull out all of this energy.
That has kept me in this triggered mode day to day.
That has kept me in this triggered mode every day.
I've created a pattern.
Of
not feeling safe.
And
others are helping.
And others are helping.
I didn't do it all by myself.
I did do it all by myself.
But I want to take responsibility for my part. And I want to acknowledge. That there are many stories behind this one. And my faith is such. That God could take them all away right now. Take a nice deep breath. And sweetheart, I know this is true of you because you healed your depression basically in 2 sessions, yes?
Yes.
Yes, and that is faith, right? That is Spirit working through us. That is not something I can cognitively do in 2 hours. That's usually months, if not years. Okay.
Yes.
Karate chopping. Even though I came home and I was so happy. I had missed my sweetheart. And I wanted him to have been missing me too. And it feels like he didn't miss me.
It felt like he didn't miss me.
True?
Yes.
Yes. And on top of that,
he
was in a bad mood. People don't have to tell me these things. My spirit can discern them. And I don't want to be afraid of that discerning. I'm simply asking for healing from the traumas. So that I can use this discernment differently. Take a nice deep breath. Something shifting for you, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Nice deep breath. One more setup. Even though I stepped in the dog pee. And that made me panic. So I was already on level 5. Of anxiety and things aren't right. Is that about accurate? I'm feeling like, uh-oh, right?
Yeah, it was just startled, totally. I was happy and then confused.
I deeply and completely appreciate. That I didn't do anything wrong stepping in the pee. And it wasn't wrong for me to be startled. And I'd like to accept that it wasn't even wrong for me to feel badly about it. Perfect. Nice deep breath. Top of the head on the crown. I was so happy to be home. Between the eyes. I'd been missing my sweetheart.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
I had been missing my sweetheart.
I had been missing my sweetheart.
Side of the eyes. I was hoping he had missed me too.
I was hoping he had missed me too.
Under the eyes. It didn't seem like he'd missed me.
It didn't seem like he'd missed me.
Under the nose. That kind of hurt my feelings.
That kind of hurt my feelings.
Come to your chin. Releasing hurt feelings that he didn't miss me.
Releasing hurt feelings that he didn't miss me.
Collarbone. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
Under the arm. It sure didn't look or feel like it.
It sure didn't look or feel like it.
Bottom of the ribs. I'm so grateful that I was missing him.
I'm so grateful that I was missing him.
That's a sign of my love.
That's a sign of my love.
And I don't want to turn that off.
I don't want to turn that off.
Take a nice deep breath. Top of the head on the crown. I knew he'd had a bad day.
I knew he'd had a bad day.
Fingers between the eyes. I could feel his grumpy spirit.
I could feel his grumpy spirit.
Side of the eyes. I was trying to just hold my space.
I was trying to just hold my space.
Under the eyes. But I could feel he was having a bad day.
But I could feel he was having a bad day.
Under the nose. I wish I knew what to do when he was having a bad day.
I wish I knew what to do when he was having a bad day.
Sound about right?
Yes.
Come to your chin. Maybe in the past I've tried to fix it.
Maybe in the past I tried to fix it.
Any truth in that?
Yes.
Yeah, collarbone. Another way that I fracture.
Another way that I fracture.
Under the arm. Anytime I'm with someone.
Anytime I wish someone.
Bottom of the ribs. And my mind is in different places.
And my mind is in different places.
Instead of being fully present with that person.
Instead of being fully present with that person.
I'm setting myself up for anxiety.
I'm setting myself up for anxiety.
Okay, take a breath. Sweetie, I think you're getting that, yeah?
Yeah.
Top of the head. This is how we get in our own way.
This is how we get in our own way.
Two fingers between the eyes. If I could train my brain.
If I could train my brain.
Hello, ego.
Hello, ego.
Side of the eyes. To only focus on what's in front of me.
To only focus on what's in front of me.
Under the eyes. My peaceful levels would skyrocket.
My peaceful levels would skyrocket.
Under the nose. It's when my mind starts thinking 30 different things.
It's when my mind starts thinking 30 different things.
Come to your chin. That my body can't handle all that confused energy.
That my body can't handle all that confused energy.
Collarbone. It burns me out.
It burns me out.
Under the arm. I always feel frustrated.
I always feel frustrated.
Bottom of the ribs. And the only thing that happens.
And the only thing that happens.
Is I get disappointed and depressed.
Is that I get disappointed and depressed.
Okay, take a breath for me. You breathe that really deeply. That felt pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to sit with that for a second. Spirit's doing some work for you. Okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, I knew he'd had a bad day.
In terms of how it affected me to know that?
Right now, on a scale of 0 to 10, I knew he'd had a bad day. How much anxiety is around that now?
4.
And then I stepped in the P spot on a scale of 0 to 10.
1.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go to the bomb. Okay, so karate chop with me. Even though I realize now I was already fractured.
Even though I realize now I was already fractured.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. My energy wasn't stable enough for the bomb he dropped.
My energy wasn't stable enough for the bomb he dropped.
No wonder it imploded.
No wonder
It exploded.
it exploded.
Right? I was already agitated that he didn't miss me.
I was already agitated that he didn't miss me.
My perception.
My perception.
I was agitated that he was having a bad day.
I was agitated that he was having a bad day.
And I couldn't fix it.
Couldn't fix it.
My perception.
My perception.
I'd been having a good day.
I've been having a good day.
And I was trying to maintain the good feelings.
I was trying to maintain the good feeling.
Another fracture.
Another fracture.
Then, in my vulnerable state of energy,
And then in my vulnerable state of energy,
I stepped in the dog pee.
I stepped in the dog pee.
That was the first little bomb.
It was the first little bomb.
And I'm accepting right now.
And I'm accepting right now.
I didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Take a nice deep breath. Very good, Carolyn. You took that right in. I could feel it. Still karate chopping. Now we're going to go to the big bomb. Even though I know I was already set up
Even though I know I was already set up
to feel really vulnerable and panicky.
to feel really vulnerable and panicky.
I did it to me.
He did it to me.
My ego was doing all this fracturing.
My ego was doing all this fracturing.
And it felt like I had become a big bullseye for him.
And it felt like I had become a big bullseye for him.
And boy, did he hit the spot.
And boy, did he hit the spot.
I stepped in the dog pee.
I stepped in the dog pee.
And his response
Was
not loving or kind.
Was not loving or kind.
It was accusatory.
It was accusatory.
Well, who didn't put her up?
Well, who didn't put her up?
I can still feel it.
I can still feel it.
And I'm releasing.
And I'm releasing.
That anxiety.
Anxiety.
That hurt.
Hurt.
Disappointment.
Disappointment.
Shame.
Shame.
And frustration right now.
And frustration right now.
Top of the head. Releasing. Who didn't put her up?
Releasing. Who didn't put her up?
Finger to the eyes. Releasing the bomb.
Releasing the bomb.
And all the energy that went with it.
All the energy that went with it.
Who didn't put her up?
Who didn't put her up?
Side of the eyes. Who didn't put her up?
Who didn't put her up?
Under the eyes. Who didn't put her up?
Who didn't put her up?
On the nose. Who didn't put her up?
Who didn't put her up?
Come to your chin. I should have said, shoot, I don't know. Who didn't?
I should have said, shoot, I don't know. Who didn't?
Collarbone. But instead, I did what?
But instead, I snapped back.
I snapped back under the arm. That's what egos do when they feel attacked.
That's what egos do when they feel attacked.
Bottom of the ribs, they fight back.
They fight back.
Top of the head, sometimes they just run away.
Sometimes they just run away.
Fingers in the eyes, sometimes they just freeze and take it.
Sometimes they just freeze and take it.
Side of the eyes, none of these resources or responses are better than the other. Under the eyes, none of them will bring us peace.
None of them will bring us peace.
On the nose, if I run away, we can't talk about it.
If I run away, we can't talk about it.
Come your chin. If I freeze, I just take in all that energy.
If I freeze, I just take in all that energy.
Collarbone. And when I snap back,
I
feel guilty.
I feel guilty.
Under the arm, because I know that's not who I want to be.
Because I know that's not who I want to be.
Bottom of the ribs, my ego loves it when I snap back.
My ego loves it when I snap back.
Top of the head on the crown. Here's my energy disrupted.
Here's my energy disrupted.
Between the eyes, my feelings hurt.
My feelings hurt.
Side of the eyes, disappointed.
Disappointed.
Under the eyes, I'm falling down the stairs.
I'm falling down the stairs.
Under the nose, of emotional feelings.
Of emotional feelings.
Come to your chin, and I hit the bottom with a thud.
And I hit the bottom with a thud.
Collarbone. I'm just useless.
I'm just useless.
Under the arm, and shame on me for attacking him back.
And shame on me for attacking back.
Bottom of the ribs. Ego loves to drag me down the stairs of emotions.
Ego loves to drag me down the stairs of emotions.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to come right to the thymus with your knuckles right on the chest bone, okay?
Okay.
Spirit loves to lead me up the stair of emotions.
Spirit loves to lead me up the stairs of emotions.
And I have to get my ego tame.
And I have to get my ego tame.
My mind quiet.
My mind quiet.
So that my spirit can give me different options.
So that my spirit can give me different options.
Perfect. Take a nice deep breath. Shake those hands out a little bit. You might want to stretch just a little. That energy was really contracted in your belly, in the center of your being. So let's see if that's, yeah, okay. So let's go back through all of these. The first one is, I knew he'd had a bad day. On a scale of 0 to 10, where's that now?
3.
And I'm just going to say for the record that it feels like there's 1,000 other times that you could sense he was in a bad mood, had a bad day. The alarm bells were going off for you. So I'm not going to focus too much on that because that feels like a whole nother book.
Gotcha.
In the series. Okay.
Yeah.
Stepped in the dog pee. Shocked on a scale of 0 to 10. Where's that now?
1. Maybe a 0.
Okay. His saying, who didn't put her up? On a scale of 0 to 10.
3.
3. So what remains about who didn't put her up? Can you kind of vocalize what that feels like or is? Or
I just really didn't think it had anything to do with it because that wasn't the focus for me. The pee, it was just a shock thing that made me say anything to start with, I think.
Yeah.
And I wasn't accusing him of anything. I knew he didn't have anything to do with it. And I didn't care who didn't put her up or why she peed, and I sure wasn't mad at the dog. I just didn't understand why it was an issue at all.
Yeah. So there we go to another layer of ego confusion, right? Is it's like my head is swirling, and then on top of it is like, wait, what just happened here?
Exactly.
Yeah. My spirit sometimes has a peculiar sense of humor, but it's almost like spirit is going, it's too bad. When he yelled at me, I just went, oh, you mean you didn't pee on the carpet? You mean this isn't your mess? You mean it's still not?
I like spirit's sense of humor. That's perfect.
It's so funny. Because my phraseology is always that if I'm trying to make sanity out of ego's insanity, I'm not going to win. So sometimes spirit will bring in something just like boom and blow it right at, because it's like, oh, that's so stupid.
I try to be so logical about it.
Yeah.
And you can't be logical about it when ego comes up.
Okay, so we're just going to do, because it feels like there's more aspects here, and I'm kind of feeling into more stories about, actually what Spirit's wanting to go to is the tone. It's not what he said, it was the tone he said it in.
Exactly.
And let's see if that actually, I think that's going to rise up. Here's that tone again, is what Spirit's telling me. On a scale of 0 to 10, that tone.
10.
Yeah, karate chop with me. Oh, well, this is interesting. Spirit's showing me something. Even though I can hear that tone again.
Even though I can hear that tone again.
You know what? It ticks me off when he talks to me like that.
It really ticks me off when he talks to me like that.
Yeah, he's not talking to me like an equal.
He's not talking to me like an equal.
Worse yet.
He's
not speaking to me like his beloved.
He's not speaking to me like his beloved.
Oh, it hurts my spirit.
Oh, it hurts my spirit.
He's speaking to me like he's a father figure.
He's speaking to me like he's a father figure.
And I've never had that.
I've never had that.
It confuses my being.
It confuses my being.
My daddy didn't talk to me like that.
My daddy didn't talk to me like that.
I had no idea my husband would.
I had no idea my husband would.
I'd like to release the shock.
I'd like to release the shock.
Disappointment and pain.
Disappointment and pain.
That he would speak to me with that tone.
That he would speak to me with that tone.
Yeah, take a nice deep breath. Even though words have energy.
Even though words have energy.
And they have meaning.
And they have meaning.
They also have a tone.
They also have a tone.
And when he speaks to me in that tone.
And when he speaks to me in that tone.
It brings me down in emotions.
It brings me down in emotions.
It's because the tone.
It's because the tone.
And the content.
The content.
Are like boulders dragging me down.
Are like boulders dragging me down.
How could I not feel hurt?
How could I not feel hurt?
The energy of the tone and the words.
The energy of the tone and the words.
Is like an anvil around my neck.
Is like an anvil around my neck.
And I fall deeply on the scale of emotions.
And I fall deeply on the scale of emotions.
I'd like to release the thousands, how many times? They're saying it's more than thousands, tens of thousands of times.
I would like to release the tens of thousands of times.
That I've been pulled down by his tone and the content of his comments.
That I've been pulled down by his tone and the content of his comments.
Perfect. Top of the head on the crown. I was reacting as lovingly as I could.
I was reacting as lovingly as I could.
Fingers in the eyes. I wanted to respond better.
I wanted to respond better.
Side the eyes, but I'm still really hurt at all the times he's spoken to me in that tone.
But I'm still really hurt by all the times he's spoken to me in that tone.
Under the eyes. That's where my heart is hurting today.
That's where my heart is hurting today.
Under the nose. I don't know how to fix this.
I don't know how to fix this.
Come to your chin. Maybe I can't.
Maybe I can't.
Collarbone. But by being aware that this is the real problem.
But by being aware that this is the real problem.
Under the arm. I can start having a conversation.
I can start having a conversation.
Bottom of the ribs. Releasing the hurt of his tone and his content.
Releasing the hurt of his tone and content.
Top of the head. Accusatory tone.
Accusatory tone.
Fingers in the eyes. Shaming tone.
Shaming tone.
Side of the eyes. No wonder I thought I had to be perfect.
No wonder I thought I had to be perfect.
Under the eyes. I don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it.
Under the nose. I never know what's going to set him off.
I never know what's going to set him off.
Come to your chin. And worse yet, I don't know how he's going to attack me about it.
And worse yet, I don't know how he's going to attack me about it.
Collarbone. Today I'd like to decide to forgive myself.
Today I'd like to decide to forgive myself.
Under the arm. And release this habit and pattern.
And release this habit and pattern.
Of feeling so vulnerable.
Of feeling so vulnerable.
Bottom of the ribs. Spirit saying, so shocked and surprised.
Yeah, so shocked and surprised.
Top of the head, like I've never heard him talk before.
I've never heard him talk before.
Two fingers between the eyes. Maybe he doesn't even get what that tone looks, sounds, and feels like to me.
Maybe he doesn't even get what that tone looks, sounds, and feels like to me.
Side of the eyes, releasing my own shock and hurt.
Releasing my own shock and hurt.
Under the eyes, if I could remember that this is his tone of origin.
If I could remember that this is his tone of origin.
Under the nose, maybe I won't be so shocked and hurt.
Maybe I won't be so shocked and hurt.
Come to your chin. I'm asking Spirit today.
I'm asking Spirit today.
Collarbone, release this habit from me.
Release this habit from me.
Under the arm, of taking it personally.
Of taking it personally.
Bottom of the ribs, this is just the way he talks.
This is just the way he talks.
And I'd like to be able to accept it.
And I'd like to be able to accept it.
And not take it personally.
And not take it personally.
Good. Shake your hands out. Ooh.
That's amazing.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, that tone and the content of his words, where's that now?
We've dropped it some. It's about a 5.
Perfect.